Hey guys, this is Cody, and today I'm doing a video response to a movie tag that I saw a YouTuber that I really enjoy, Forkerball, do a video of a couple days ago. And he said that he got the idea for this tag from one of his friends and another YouTuber named James DVD Collector. And the name of the tag is Movie Tag. And basically what you do in Movie Tag is you come up with a name. It can be your YouTube name, your pet's name, whatever name you want. And for every letter in that name, you have to come up with the name of a movie that also starts with that letter. And I thought this was a pretty cool and interesting idea for for a movie tag. And it's also one you really have to think about, especially if you're somebody who has a long name or you pick a long name, because just coming up with different names of movies for every letter in a certain name, I'm sure is difficult, or it can be difficult. Now, when Forkerball did his, he just used his first and last name. I'm just going to use my YouTube name because I want to keep that YouTube connection. So I'm only going to be using letters in Dead by Dawn. And I've picked all my movies out, and I have them laid out right here. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick each one up. I'm going to say a little bit about it, but I'm not going to talk a whole lot about each of these movies because there's a lot of movies here. And if you guys want to do a response to this video, feel free to just leave a comment down below. I tag everybody, who wants to do a video. Just leave a comment with a link to your video down below, and I'll also leave a link in the description to Forkerball's video if you want to check his video out. But anyway, guys, let's go and get started. And the first letter is, of course, D, and the movie I'm choosing is Darkness Falls. Now, this movie is one that I consider this movie a modern horror film. It came out in 2003, and I remember being very creeped out by it the first time I saw it. And it's definitely one that I think is it doesn't get talked about as much as films like The Grudge or The Ring or, movies that came out during this time. And I really do enjoy this one. And it's one that if you haven't seen it, I do really recommend it. And, I consider this a modern horror film. It came out in 2003, so it's been a little bit... it's been a little bit over 10 years since it came out, and I really do, like I said, really do enjoy this. A lot of creepy moments, good, spooky elements, and it's also got a great cast as well. Very good one, Darkness Falls. I also like this quote right here: "For sheer terror, it runs rings around the ring." Personally, I thought that The Ring was a creepier film, but this one is still very, very good. So, Darkness Falls. Now it's time for E. And the movie I chose for E is one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen. Edward Scissorhands. This is the sort of the old story of somebody who, he doesn't look right. They look creepy or they look scary, and and they end up finding love with somebody. It's kind of a Beauty and the Beast type story in a way. It's definitely one of those. Don't judge somebody by how they look. And this is definitely one of those movies. I thought, Johnny Depp, he did an amazing performance, and Tim Burton, I love Tim Burton's films, and this is definitely one of his best. And I just love the music about it. I love the scenes of the snow. Like I said, it's a beautifully visual film, and it's definitely one of my favorite films. And so I just thought I'd talk a bit about it. But yeah, Edward Scissorhands, classic movie. The next one for A, American Graffiti, and this is my dad's copy. And I remember seeing this movie back when I was really young and really enjoying it. It takes place in 1962, and it's basically about these high schoolers who are about to go off to college, or they're all about to go off and start their career. And it's basically just them going around and cruising around town, and you get really connected with these characters. You care about all the characters in these movies, and you understand what they're going through. Of course, you got, Ron Howard is in this, and Richard Dreyfuss, and Paul Le Mat, Charlie Martin Smith, and, Mackenzie Phillips. Just a great cast all around, and, this is definitely one movie that's lived on for years. It even says on the back, it's been voted as one of the top 100 movies of all time by the AFI, and I really do think it is. It's definitely one movie this movie truly captures what the 60s was. It really does. This movie came out in 1980. I can't find the date, but it came out in the 80s, and I do believe that it really does capture what the 60s was, and great music as well. This movie has such a classic, probably one of the best movie soundtracks of all time, in my opinion. If you're a fan of if you're a fan of 60s music, then this is definitely an essential film to see and check out. So, American Graffiti. Now, the next one is a movie that has always lived on as one of my favorite comedies of all time, Dumb and Dumber. I love this movie. Ever since I was younger, I just love this film. It's a movie that it didn't make me laugh out loud a lot, but I still thought there were a lot of great funny moments. And it's more than just a dumb movie about two idiots just going around trying to find this girl. It's got a lot of heart to it, which I think is something that's missing in a lot of other comedies today. And Dumb and Dumber is just such a classic film, classic comedy, and I just thought I would talk about it. So there you go. And now B. Now this one was actually the first war film that I saw. I'm not a huge fan of war movies, but the ones that I have seen are really, really great. And this is one of my favorite ones, Behind Enemy Lines, with Owen Wilson and Gene Hackman. I really do enjoy this one. I think Owen Wilson put out an amazing performance. One of the scenes that always sticks out is the scene when Owen Wilson is hiding from the enemy and he has to go underneath a whole pile of dead bodies. And the director was talking about it, and he was saying that they didn't have a heating suit. They basically just had cold water, mud, and then the fake dead bodies. And Owen Wilson just got right in there and did it. And I have respect for Owen Wilson as an actor. I know some people don't like him, but I've always liked him. He's one of those actors that can go from comedy to action films like this, and I like him. And Gene Hackman, in my opinion, is a legendary actor. And I think that they both did amazing performances in this film. And yeah, and this is also one war film that if you're not a fan of like really bloody, gory war movies, this is one you can check out. It's not overly gory. It's only PG-13. It's got a good story, a good cast, and it's just an all-around great movie. And now this next one is actually one that I recently picked up. I have not shown this movie off, and it's the only movie that I had that starts with the letter Y. And I remember hearing so much about this movie. I remember the DVD cover. On the bottom of it, it was saying, the funniest film of all time. And I used to think that was kind of funny. But the movie is Young Frankenstein. And, it's not the funniest movie I've ever seen, but this is a great, great comedy. I really did enjoy this one. All around great act. I love the opening scene. It really captures what classic horror films were. In the opening scene, and then it starts off, and then it goes, of course, with a lot of comedic moments, and yeah, this is definitely, as it says on the back, a masterpiece. I think this is definitely one of the best comedies of all time, and it's an all-around great film, and yeah, really enjoy this one as well. So there's why. And I could have sworn I had more than one movie that started with the letter Y, but that's the only one. But I got that movie, I think sometime last month at Walmart, and I just never showed it off, so there you go. Okay, now back to D. Dazed and Confused. Now, I think what American Graffiti was for the 60s, this was for the 70s. 1976, you got, high schoolers that are about to graduate. You got, middle schoolers that are about to go to high school, and it's all about that time of, trying to find out who you are, and, trying to figure out what you want to do with your life, and basically just having a good time and having fun just being a teenager, and I think this movie really does capture it. It's one film that's, lived on for years, once again, great cast is also. I'm kind of wondering if, the new movie Everybody Wants Some. I wonder how this will compare, because every time I see it, I think of this movie, and I think that I don't know. I might be completely wrong, but I feel like they ended up doing Everybody Wants Some as sort of like not redoing Dazed and Confused, because I've never seen it, so I really don't know how they compare, but not really doing. But trying to do a movie that's like Dazed and Confused, but not Dazed and Confused. You know what I mean? But yeah, Everybody Wants Some is one movie I'm actually really looking forward to seeing. And Dazed and Confused, like I said, it's just a classic movie. Now we're back to the A's, and this is one of my favorite horror comedies. I think out of all the movies in this frame, this is the third film in a trilogy, and out of all the movies, I think some people, they either hate this movie or they love it or it's their least favorite. I love this movie, Army of Darkness. I've talked about this movie so many times, and I really do enjoy it. Of course, Bruce Campbell, Ash, he goes back to 1300 AD, and basically he must help the people there fight off the Deadites once again. And there's so many great moments in this, like when he fights the she-bitch at the beginning, and of course you got the the Deadite with the wings, and then Ash has to fight off his tiny little his tiny clones or whatever in the windmill scene. And this is just an all-around just a great horror comedy. So chose that one. Now we got another comedy, and that is Wayne's World. And I do think that this one is... Oh, what's going on, Wendy Woo? Yeah, Wendy just ran in. I do think that this is definitely a classic comedy. Probably my favorite scene, and it's one that everybody always remembers, is when they're in the car and they're singing Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, word for word. I think everybody remembers that scene. But this is a great movie. I didn't grow up watching Saturday Night Live, so I didn't know about this until I saw the movie. And I saw this movie before I knew it was a Saturday Night Live sketch. And then I started watching it, and I think it was one of the better sketches on that show. And yeah, another great movie. I wish Mike Myers would come back and do movies. I know that after The Love Guru, when he did that, everybody was so offended by that movie, and now he hasn't really done anything. He did another Shrek movie after that, but he hasn't really done anything, and I wish he'd come back. I really like Mike Myers. And then the last movie that I'm going to be talking about is a true classic zombie film. It was kind of hard for me to decide on what was the last movie I wanted to talk about, but I chose this one because it's probably the most influential zombie movie. I know there's been zombie films that's come before this, but none of them really had the impact like this one, I think. George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead. Recently, George Romero got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, I believe. Yeah, I think so. He actually got that recently, so congrats to him. And this is definitely one of his best works. And this is, one of the most influential horror films of all time. So many classic scenes. It's just an all-around amazing, amazing horror film. And like I said, I think all the other zombie films that came after this were sort of inspired by this one, which is why I think that this movie is more inspirational than other zombie-type films that came before this. But this is definitely a classic. So anyway guys, that is my video. Like I said, if you want to do a response, feel free to. I tag anyone and everyone who wants to do a response. Just leave a link to your video down below and I'll check it out. Also be sure to check out Forkerball's video. I'll leave a link to his video down below. And yeah, this was a really cool idea for a video. I thought that coming up with a certain name and then coming up with movies that, with each letter, a movie that starts with the same letter, it's just a cool idea. And I think it's pretty fun, and it's one you really got to think about, because I actually it took me some time to think about these movies. But anyway, guys, thanks everyone for watching. Hope everyone doing well. I hope you guys are having a good 4th of July weekend. Happy 4th of July. Happy, Independence Day. Hope you guys are having a fun one. And I'll see you guys in the next video.